Hey everybody, I'm Nicholas Live, and with me is Ian Worrall, the CEO of MyBit, a very awesome project I'm looking forward to discussing later on. But first of all, Ian, thanks so much for joining me, and it's an honor to speak with you again. Where are you
No
from
problem.
originally?
So I grew up in North Carolina outside of Raleigh, but I'm living in Switzerland now. So it's been a crazy few years.
Yeah, it is, and I actually know a lot of people who, are from the States, and I personally am from Chicago area. But it seems like most of the crypto enthusiasts seem to be moving towards Europe. Is that like a trend you see as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's for a lot of reasons, but it's just most of us don't agree with what's going on in the US, and the EU is a much better market for crypto and startups.
Yeah, but it's interesting that actually the biggest market right now is the US. I think, maybe Korea is catching up and Japan and, China, of course. But up until recently, I think the most of the market is dictated by US, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of China too, but that's the consumer side of the market. Actually for startups and growing a company, there are a lot better places than the US for like legal and tax reasons.
Oh, okay. And your company, MyBit, is based in Switzerland, and I know Switzerland is a very crypto friendly place, especially the Crypto Valley, where you guys have an office, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably the best place. Here in Singapore, I'd say are the two top places in the world.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I would love to go to, go check out some more Asia, and I really want to get a different outlook on and see what feel and what kind of perspective they have with cryptocurrency. I mean, most of my friends, from America are still, even though they know about it, they're very skeptic, right? And most
Mhm.
of them, at the beginning, when they invest, they end up, losing money because they usually end up buying on the hype. And, if you're new and you see the price go down 20%, you're gonna sell ASAP and get out, which is not bad, not a good thing to do. But when you're new, it's something we all have done, right?
Yeah.
How was your experience as a crypto trader? I know you're big in trading, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been trading like stocks and options and stuff since I was like 14 years old and had like my dad like co-sign on an account with me. And it's weird because like I never came from a finance background. Like my dad doesn't know a thing about math or trading. Just kind of, I'm like autistic or something with it. Like when I look at like a trading chart and numbers and everything, I just like understood it and like saw colors and it's kind of like weird. Something's wrong with me, but it worked for me. So I never really had a formal education on trading, but I mean I've done decently well with it. But the biggest thing is when I would say trading is don't listen to anybody and don't listen to the media. And it sounds like the simplest thing to do, but people let emotions get in the way. Just buy when people are selling and the markets are down, and sell when people are buying and the media is hyping it up. And it sounds so simple, but people let emotions get in the way and don't do it. And if you just follow that, like you'll end up doing very, very well.
I was actually just talking to the same thing in a recent live stream with Crypto Daily. We were saying just how most of us know what's the right thing to do. Most of us know you should just buy crypto, forget about it, and hodl for 3 years, and just just not even look at your Blockfolio account. But I guess no one really does that, right?
That would definitely be the best thing to do. So, like, I mean, even when I was getting started, Bitcoin was like under $100, and everybody was like
Whoa.
skeptical about it. And I just put like, it wasn't much, but I just put my life savings in it because I saw, I, I mean, I was like 18 or 19 years old. It was a few $1,000s. It
Oh,
was
okay. I
nothing.
thought it was a lot.
It wasn't crazy. But what I did to kind of like build up the portfolio over the years is when it would shoot up to like $600 or $1,000, really, really quickly, you're like, okay, well, that's going to pull back down because that just went up too fast. So you would just sell when something's up, 40% in a week. And then it would drop 30% and you would just buy back in. And then you'd slowly, you start with like 50 Bitcoin, then all of a sudden you have 100, then you have 1,000, and you just, and there are times when you lose and you just need to realize like worst case, just hold. And another thing too is I've never bought into a cryptocurrency or an investment in something I didn't believe in or something I'd be afraid to hold. So never bought into like a shitcoin that I thought was going to go up, 100% on a pump and dump, because if it went the wrong way, it's something like I don't want to hold. So, I'd really say, Bitcoin, I don't know about it so much anymore because it's up so high, but I still love Ethereum, and like invested in the Ethereum pre-sale like years ago, and I've still just been accumulating more of it. And then really looking at Omisco right now because I think that is going to be the next one to break off like Ethereum did.
That's some awesome advice. I'm definitely gonna have to, look more into Mizigo, and I guess we were all afraid to buy it right now since we all knew about it when it was nothing, and now you're gonna feel bad for paying the premium, but that's what you get for not putting the sugar earlier, and it's actually a fun story.
You always have to find the next best thing. So, I mean, I would tell people like, if you're just getting in, it always depends on what kind of risk you want to take and everything. But most people getting into this, want to get rich and think it's a get rich quick scheme. Really, if you're buying Bitcoin at $11,000, I mean, good luck. I don't really see that I don't see you getting rich off that. And you have a lot of risk. If you're buying Ethereum now, it's less risk, but it's still really high. But then you look at something like Omisco that has potential to go to, $500, $1,000. And I'm not trying to like promote it. I'm just using it as an example. Your downside is like you can put in a couple $1,000s into it and you could lose a couple $1,000s if it doesn't take off. But if it goes up to 1,000, you can make hundreds of thousands or millions. Where if you put $1,000 into Ethereum, you might make a few $1,000s. You see what I'm just trying to say with kind of like risk reward thing? So I'd say like don't listen to the media, and when they start saying like this is the future, look for like the next thing that's really going to take over, and just buy it and forget about it for 2 or 3 years. That's really what you need to do.
Oh yeah, we do have to like put a big emphasis that we're talking just some big numbers and stuff that we feel might be correct, but when we say like $1,000 for Mizigo, we're talking like in like 3 to 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not a place for short flips unless you're ready for lots of stress and no sleep.
Yeah, I mean, there's times when occasionally there's probably like and I did the same thing with like stocks and options. There'd be like no more than 5 times a year I would make a trade, and I would just wait for something to be like underpriced, like oversold or something. Like when Ethereum just went down to like $500, like within the past month, like that was an amazing buying opportunity. And I was like, okay, I need to buy more right now because it's going to go up and doubled. So I'd say like, don't try to push it to make like a few percent. Like wait until there is a big crash or correction and then scoop it up at that point. And, then you just have a higher probability of it going back up, not losing money, and your returns are greater. So, I mean, everybody's trading style is different, but that's what I like doing. Just a few times a year, just hitting it really hard.
Yeah. And people in the live chat that say that you have a really good mindset, and Spock in the Lambo says, +1 for you, man. You're, I know you used to be a lot, more into trading. Right now, you're more into like a startup type of, and you have your own actually. You're CEO of MyBit, which is a huge crypto in my book, at least. How was your experience, and how did you get into this, kind of management?
Yeah, sure. So, for going from trading, I kind of got introduced into tech when I was in college, and decided to start building some trading algorithms and playing with that. And then I saw like a massive just opportunity for building financial applications on the Bitcoin network. But I also like was scribbling down about how there'll be a thing called decentralized applications and stuff like 2 years before Ethereum came out. And when I saw like Vitalik release a white paper for Ethereum, I was like, holy crap. Like I have like just pages of this like scribbled down in my room, but he was much more capable of me in producing something like that. So I'm glad he did it. But I got involved in like 2013. The first like blockchain type application and like company I started was accounting software for Bitcoin, because I just saw a huge thing where it's really hard for individuals and companies to track, what the price is of Bitcoin when they receive it, and then if it goes up or down when they actually convert it into cash. So I just like automated Bitcoin accounting at the time, and then realized, I think I was the first person to ever do that on like an actual like enterprise grade application.
Really?
And realized that, we'd be like LibreTax to market and stuff like that, but realized that nobody was paying taxes back in 2013 and companies weren't accepting it. So like sitting on that source code maybe for like one day, even tried filing a patent and stuff for it. But decided we wanted to go the open source route because I think patents are really outdated and just not a thing anymore. But yeah, so I mean, that's how I got into it. Kind of like, learn the hard way. Also a little bit before that, actually, I got into Bitcoin mining, where I just turned like my whole like college apartment into a Bitcoin mining facility and was importing them from Hong Kong and like wholesale, and then mining and reselling them in the US on like eBay and stuff. So that was actually pretty fun, and did that like 6 months, and it was just cool. And then just like kind of used like some money from that in trading to play around with like the accounting software, stuff like that. And then I decided just to leave college because I was doing well, and like college just wasn't. I was in college for international finance, and just realized Wall Street was a terrible place. It's something I thought I'd always wanted to go work there and be like a trader or work at a hedge fund, and just realized it was not for me. So I left school and started a company that did like blockchain consulting and did some POCs. So we like did stuff for like HP and Accenture, but it was all like small. It was all small scale stuff. And I did that for like 2.5 years, and it like paid the bills and it was cool. But I really wanted to, do something really blockchain related and like work towards creating that killer application. So I like spent like 6 months scaling down that company and finding like all the employees. We had like 20 at the peak of it, like new jobs and stuff. And then just closed the doors on it and decided to like move over to Europe. Because I had like an idea for MyBit that I needed to flesh out. And how like MyBit came to be is was always looking for like, okay, I'm like, I did well on crypto. What's like the next biggest industry that I can capitalize on as an investor with all these crypto profits? And I was like, IoT and just like the machine economy is going to be really big because it's going to be, like self-driving taxis, like delivery drones, like everything is going to be automated in machinery. And like the Swiss like Research Institute and some other like big economic places said that by like 2025, it's going to be generating $10 trillion in revenue from all these like interconnected machines. And I was like, okay, well, how would I invest in something like that? And I didn't like the idea of the old school way where I would have to trust a hedge fund or something, like a private fund, with like millions of dollars or hundreds, a lot of money. And they would invest it on my behalf into these things. And it's like trusting somebody else with my money, I'm not a fan of. That's why I got involved with Bitcoin. I hate banks. Like, I don't want anybody else touching anything. And I hated the idea that they were going to take like a 20% management fee.
How much?
Just to like, it's normally like if you put in 100,000, they take 2 or 3% of your money up front. And then they take 20 or 30% of your profits.
Whoa.
It's like extortion. And all they do is they invest on your behalf, and then they receive the revenue, and they send you like a wire transfer or a check once a year. And I was like, well, this is really stupid because they're not really doing anything for people that like me that actually like investing and looking for like deal flow on their own. So saw like a huge opportunity where blockchain just made sense. I've been in the blockchain industry for like 6 years now, and I've seen a lot of cool ideas, but a lot of them don't really need blockchain, or blockchain would be too expensive or something like that. But this was the first time when it just clicked, and I talked to some like people in the industry and friends where people were like, holy shit, you're really, really onto something here. Because you can just automate the role of a hedge fund or a private investment fund or like a broker function with smart contracts. Because all they do is just follow like a set of terms and conditions. And you can just automate that completely with Ethereum and like reduce those fees down by like 10x. So and with that too, you're in a transparent process where people can monitor their like money at all times. You're never trusting somebody else, and you can get paid way more frequently. So it just made total sense. So not only did it make sense to do it with blockchain, but also it was a giant market. So, I really think with MyBit, and I don't think I'm being overconfident saying it, like we're going to be one of like the 10 killer apps. And I'd be really surprised if we weren't. We've spent no money on marketing right now, which is probably why a lot of people haven't heard of us, because instead of hyping up our product and doing like the pump and dump type thing I'm seeing a lot in this industry where you talk about everything you can do, but you don't actually build anything. What we've been doing since we raised our token sale money is building our platform and establishing partnerships. And we're just starting to build a marketing strategy now as we're getting ready to release our alpha in a few months. So, I think we're running the company the right way. I think we have a really big market for it. And I think we have a model that will actually be generating money for its users and be integrated into the real world within the next year or two. So there's not many blockchain companies that can say that. So, I mean, I'm really impressed with just like what our team's done and everything. And I mean, that's another thing. When you see the interviews from the people on our team, there's only 7 of us, but it's arguably one of the best teams in the crypto industry, just like our culture and everything. So I just totally went on a rant there, but I have, nothing but good things to say about our team, what we're doing. Like, and the thing too is we all love this idea, and everybody on the team, everybody's done well in the crypto industry or in past jobs, and everybody took this position because they were really passionate about what we're building. And I think that says a lot because a lot of people are in this industry just for a money grab. So I'll stop talking now, but
no, it's actually fun. And I didn't know that most of the team is actually doing well on their own. Like you personally, where did you move to Europe originally? What place?
I moved to Prague. I was gonna move to Berlin, but then I had some friends in Prague that moved there after college. So it's just like
you could have just like basically retired in Prague. I mean,
yeah,
from your profits. Sorry for swearing, but instead, you wanted to invest your money, but there was no solution. And what happened is you were like, I'll just create my own solution because you guys can't make it, and I'll make it better.
Exactly.
And that's what I totally love about this. And speaking of MyBit, is MyBit open sourced?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're huge proponents of open source because we think that like patents and copyrights and, closed applications but it's not the way forward because it just stifles innovation. And, we have some things that are going to be like closed, like some parts of our UI and our onboarding process and like maybe some APIs, but the core platform and functionality is going to be open source. And it's also a decentralized application. So you can't have a truly decentralized and like transparent application without being open source. And, the thing too is a lot of like old corporate mindset people that I've talked to are like, why would you do open source? That's stupid. Somebody can just rip you off. Well, I don't think, it's competition and, it's like the free market. If somebody can do something better than us, like they should be able to do it. We shouldn't have a patent like, a lot of big name corporations have that prevent startups from overtaking them with better technology. So it's just like, it's more of, we made sure that we're protected from a business standpoint, but then it's just a philosophical standpoint from everybody at the company. We really believe in open source. So, we made sure we're protected. People who own MyBit, the tokens are protected, but, still embrace open source and that whole way.
Yeah, and it's definitely good that you stand behind your own morals, and it's just a shame that the competition is healthy. Capitalism is okay because it does promote the free market, and that's how innovation happens. But if you put a lock on it, it's just gonna rot and nothing's gonna happen.
What's really funny, yeah, competition is really good, but something that I won't say the name, but it's a big computer company that's involved with blockchain, kind of, well, claim they are now. But
I know what they would,
yeah, but not name. But what somebody I know that worked there was saying, so when they would release like a new software that was like a new, I don't know, like for example, say like 3D printing software, something that's like new that people have never used before, they would brand one under their name, and then they would create 2 other companies that were like not directly owned by them, but really were. And that way there was competition in the market, because when there's only one company with something new, people are like, is it going to work or is it not? But if there's 3 companies, then they're like, okay, it definitely works. Which company am I going to choose to work with? So it's like, that just shows that competition.
It's such a lie.
It shows competition really works for like psychology and stuff. But, I hate how they did that. But it just shows that like competition is really, really important in every aspect.
That is super shady.
Yeah, and we're making it so people can directly compete with us. We're not about to launch like, follow that model. But, that's what patents and stuff turn into, and I just hate how that works.
Yeah, and just like, it's a good thing that, most of us here come, here for the gains, but, we end up being enlightened by this, whole revolution of crypto, right?
I mean, that happened with me. I first got into Bitcoin because like I was.
Let's be honest, we do, yeah.
I didn't know what it was for the first 6 months. I was just trading like this new asset that you could leverage a lot. And then I was like, after 6 months, I'm like, I should actually do some research on like what I'm trading and like what exactly this is. And then when I like understood blockchain and everything, it just changed my life. And I was like, holy crap, like this is the future. And like, this is what I see myself doing for like the next 10 years. Like I just had like that emotional like passion just come out, and I saw so much opportunity with it. And it's so cool how, everybody thought that I was like a drug dealer like 6 years ago because I was like making money, dealing with Bitcoin, like starting to get into technology. And like even like my parents wouldn't even like talk about what I did because they just like assumed the worst. And through all that crap and people telling me that I was an idiot and like professors in college and everything, like it's so cool now just to see this like almost $1 trillion industry. And it's just really like rewarding from that
Who's
side.
laughing now?
Yeah, and like I'm humble. I'm not gonna like laugh in somebody's face or anything, but it's just really cool personally that like a lot of people like me like stuck through it, through everything, and now like they're just reaping the rewards of it, and it's cool.
Would you mind answering a question from live chat? So, somebody's trying to spread something possibly negative about MyBit, that that anything that's closely related to being a security can be closed down. Can you just answer that and make people feel better?
Yeah, sure. So we have our law firm is MLL, Meyer Lustenberg Lachenal. They're up there. They're the number 1 or 2 law firm in Switzerland. And when we were developing this company, like we made sure and went through like every avenue to ensure that this was not a security and how we were structuring everything. And we have had to make some minor changes over the past few months to like how income's distributed. And we're releasing something how you'll actually be able to stake MyBit. And I don't think we've publicly announced that yet, but we'll definitely go into more detail. But that'll, remove anything with like passive income. But when it really comes down to it, we've done all the research. We have one of the best law firms in the world, and we did everything with the token sale correctly. And, as of right now, we're not even worried about it being considered a security. Also, because really the only agency that can come after us about being a security is the, like US based ones. And so far, like we've been closed off in our terms to the US market. So, which is sad, but, we want to be open to it. But, long story short is like we have everything legally protected from that end. And we don't really, it's not even really a thought of ours that's going to be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand it. And if, from being with you on an interview at least 5 times now, I definitely know that you guys have this handled. But I just want to give some live feedback to the people in live chat. And there you go. Boom.
Something too that we're working on is because we're not the clearest on some of our like wording and stuff on our website and our public documents does kind of make it seem like a security. But if you actually dive into depth on how it all works, you'll like clearly see that it's not. So that's something that we're actually working on, is just kind of like rewording and fine tuning the website to avoid some words like passive income and stuff like that that's normally associated like with a security. But if you actually like dove into the technology and looked through the smart contracts and like how actually everything is structured, then you would like completely understand that what we're doing is fine. And it's no different than like Ethereum switching to staking and getting passive revenue from that, or like other things switching. So, it's just, it's something we need to do on the front end just to make it more clear on why it's not. But actually diving in, then, you'll see it's not at all.
And this just goes to show that how much you guys are focusing on the development and not even, on having, the best, approach to market right now, because that is not your focus at the moment, right?
Right. And we don't want to be just that hype company, when, we want to be around for the next like 10 years. And, sadly, I think the crypto market's going to expand a lot more and go up a lot in the next year or two. But like there is going to be a mega crash at some point because there's a lot of these companies that are overvalued with no business models. And we're planning to be around during that. We don't want to hype our, token price up and do all this stuff. So, 100x returns within the first 3 months. And then it just, and then it dies. And I know like, if that's what people are in it for, then like, I'd say, don't be a part of it, because that's not really what we're doing. What we want to do is actually build a company and a community and grow it into the top ones. And that'll stay at the top and stick around for a very long time.
That is actually you know, it almost makes me feel sad when you say that. You're right, and it's true. It is what it is, and I mean, no offense to other projects, but I personally know at least dozen projects who don't have anything and yet have just a really good marketing team, and that's all they literally have. Like there is some ICOs I didn't invest in, out of pure moral standards, because I knew the price was going to go up. I knew how awesome their marketing team was, but I knew like at the end of the day their product was not there, and their goals were like overly ambitious and impossible. Like they were going to reinvent like the internet, and change the world tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But their marketing team was amazing, and that's why they're like, actually that coin is in top 100 right now, but it won't be for long. I know for a fact.
And from like a trading perspective, like, if you don't have a tech background, find somebody who does, that understands blockchain, and have them go through the top like 30 on CoinMarketCap, and then have them go pick out 30 random ones between like 150 and 350 on rankings, and see what he says about the actual technology that's been developed. And I guarantee you'll be shocked, and see how marketing is starting to create the bubble. Because, I don't want to ditch any projects or anything, but just do that, and you will be amazed at some of the code you don't see in the top 30 and some that you do see in ones that you haven't even heard of yet.
And that is why I know most of like really, really, really like smart traders don't hold like most of their net worth in these top 100 coins. Like I personally, I don't know, like I like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe another one top 100.
Yeah.
That's about it. No offense on the top 100, but like it's not there. I don't see it.
I completely agree. There's a few. I'd say a few more than 3, but no more than 10. 10 is pushing it.
Well, there you go, guys. Like this is like the most honest live stream I've had in a long time, and if this doesn't open your eyes, I don't know what will. But dude, like I do not want to take up too much of your time. This is already an awesome live stream, but it's always a pleasure talking to you. And you guys, this is MyBit Monday, and I'm enjoying every second of it. Now make sure you guys are subscribed, because I will be visiting you in Zug, Switzerland around the 5th of March, right? So we can have an awesome, possibly live stream, in-person interview with the whole team, and we can just talk to everybody. And I love spending time with you guys. I was already visiting you guys in Prague because like you said, you guys are not here because you need money. You're here because it's a fun thing to work on, right?
It's a lot of fun, and it's really fun to be in Zug. You're gonna love it here. We just got a new office that's being renovated at Crypto Valley Labs, and it's just a really cool atmosphere here with a lot of support and good things going on.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end it. And just to go back to the one advice you did give to new traders, don't follow your emotions. I really like that.
And don't listen to the media. That's a big, big thing. When they say buy, don't buy.
There you guys have it. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and I will see you next Monday with MyBit, and I will also see you on the 5th of March, bro.
Cool.
Hey, thanks for your time. Bye.
Awesome, man. See you soon.